Hi there, my name is Usoa Sol, and I'm a secondary English teacher in Barcelona. As language teachers, we're always looking for ways to help students to become fluent in English, of course. But in Bachillerato, for example, we also want them to become well-rounded citizens and to develop vital competences such as critical thinking. The question is, how can we do that in the classroom? Today I'm going to show you 3 simple low-prep activities that you can do with your Bachillerato students to help them develop their critical thinking skills. And the first activity I've entitled Quotes because it works with quotes. And I personally find quotes are really powerful. They're a really powerful resource for the classroom because they're very short, manageable text, but they convey a lot of meaning in very little text. So basically, what I do with my Bachillerato students is show them a quote, usually projecting it on the screen, and give them a couple of minutes to individually think about 3 questions in connection to the quote. And the 3 questions are the following. The first one is, in your opinion, what does this quote mean? So we're focusing on the meaning of the quote. Second question is, how can you relate to it? How does it connect with you and your life? So we're trying to establish a bit of a bond there. And last but not least, the third question is, to what extent do you agree with it and why? Okay, so we're trying to establish general meaning, personalization, and then opinion. Following the think, pair, share strategy, which you surely will be familiar with, I ask my students to talk to the person next to them, to their partner, to compare their ideas. And finally, I show the 3 questions that I just mentioned again, and I open the floor for everyone to share their opinion in open class. Getting students in pairs is vital to give them time to think and to give them a chance to open up. And although some students get a bit shyer in the last stage of the activity when they're asked to share their ideas in open class, it's always amazing to see what comes up just from a simple quote. Here's an example of a quote that I chose by Vivian Green, and it was great to see students discussing it together in class because a lot of them had similar opinions and they shared anecdotes about difficulties they had and how they overcame them. Some students also commented on the fact that quotes like this, motivational quotes, sometimes actually put more pressure on us to be positive and happy at all times. And to be honest, that in itself was a wonderful example of students actually thinking critically and being able to have their own opinion and express it. And of course, being able to have opinions and express them, not only opinions, but also feelings, is another useful competence. And this is also linked to social emotional learning. So we're dealing with critical thinking and social emotional learning here. Two for the price of one. Another quote I've found interesting is this one by Mahatma Gandhi, which you can find in Unit 3 in Exam Prospects. The quote goes like this: "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." And by discussing this quote, you can get students to reflect on the impact they can have in their immediate surroundings and to find ways in which they can contribute to making the world a better place for their own generation and for future generations. And personally, I find getting students to think about the role they can play in society makes them feel empowered and more capable of doing things. So you're definitely helping them to develop their critical thinking skills and to become more, let's say, aware citizens. All right, so as a follow-up to this activity, to cater for more artistic and creative students, you could get them to illustrate the quotes you have discussed. And finally, students could look for a quote themselves, a quote that they find interesting about a certain topic, hopefully something that you're working on in class, and they can bring it to class so you can have a discussion about each of the quotes they brought, and then maybe put them up on the classroom walls as reminders. So all in all, I find discussions, either oral or written, are generally very effective to get students to think, to analyze situations, to become more critical, and also, like I said, to become more empathetic with other people's points of view. And of course, all of these are really useful competences and really useful skills not only in the classroom, but also in real life, because they can be applied in any situation in the world of work, whether in your personal life or in your professional life as well. All right, so in any case, I hope I've given you some practical ideas to take to your classroom and use with your students to help them to become more critical thinkers. And when you implement these ideas, I'd really love to hear from you and how they went. And if you're interested in more activities related to critical thinking and other key competencies, check out Macmillan's new bachillerato course, Future and Exam Prospect.